Minutes past 9 now.
The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Suckling on the teat of tech.
With Paul Brislen.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity to talk high tech, the big stories of the weekend. It's been a few weeks actually since we've chatted. Paul in Hong Kong, myself in Japan. Both technical capitals of the world, I suppose.
Well, they are, aren't they? They're highly technical societies and make great use of the capabilities out there. It was quite entertaining.
I tell you what, last time I was in Japan, it was like I was straight to Akihabara, which is like the suburb, the place for all
the Mecca.
Gadgetry, the Mecca. I did not visit there this time because I didn't feel like now in New Zealand that we miss out on anything in particular.
No, that's probably right, isn't it? We're certainly the Japanese have a whole different culture around these things, and they are, I think, going off on a slightly different track. But we're not being left behind anymore. I don't get that feeling that we're missing out on any of it. So.
Yeah. I mean, it used to be that years ago, if you visited these places, man, you'd have a long list, a long shopping list from everyone else, all your friends and family.
Right.
Give me this phone and get me that.
Can you please get me one of these?
Exactly.
Yeah. These days, PlayStation portables, iPhones, iPads, we're pretty much up with the play.
Talking iPhones, big announcements this week from Apple, in particular, something called the iCloud.
That's right, and the death to the cell phone companies is how I look at it.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. So, so the iOS 5 has come out. This is the new version of the operating system. It includes all kinds of little foibles and bits and pieces that make it easier for you to stay in touch using your iDevice. So iMessaging talks to other iDevices. You've got, as you say, the iCloud, which is fantastic. So that means I buy music on my iPhone and then magically, using the power of technology, it becomes available on my iPad and my iPod and my various iDevices anywhere on the planet using the power of the cloud. Now, this is fantastic stuff. It makes it very easy for me as a customer to stay with Apple for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah,
there is no escape once you've put everything in the cloud, and it's that easy. And that's what Apple does. It gets out of the way and makes it very easy for people to give them money. And you're giving Apple money these days. You're not giving it to your cell phone companies. Right. All you're doing with the cell phone companies is buying data. Yeah. Thanks. I'll just buy another block of data.
Yeah.
So if I think back, to last month when I paid my phone bill, I pay $150 a month to 2 Degrees to get all the phone and text messaging that I could possibly hope for.
Right.
And I pay them $20 once every couple of months for a gig of data.
Yep.
So in the not-too-distant future, my $150 a month will probably become zero as I move all my voice and texting needs into the cloud and onto my iDevice, and the $20 a month might become $25 or $30 a month.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and with a larger amount of data, possibly.
Yeah, exactly. So instead of giving, and the extra money, I'll suddenly be able to buy applications and music and books and all the other things that I want to do with my device, and I actually won't care what network I'm on.
Yeah.
So this is phase 3, I would suggest, probably 3 of Steve Jobs' plan to destroy the cell phone companies, which they are happily playing along with, which is astounding.
And his plan also to destroy Google. Well, not destroy Google, but sort of take them off the rails. Because
that's right.
Google announced in beta for North Americans something called Google Music.
Yeah.
And through some trickery and wizardry, I've managed to get myself a Google Music account as well.
Oh, the things we do for you, our listeners.
Yeah, exactly. And basically, it's music in the cloud. You upload your music collection to the Google servers. 20,000 tunes it's limited to at the moment, which is plenty. I've only got about 12,000 tunes.
Oh, well, there you go.
So upload your tunes, and then it's available through your browser on any computer, but also to devices like your Android phone.
That's
as well,
right.
Which is quite cool.
Which is very cool. But not as good as
no. Because the cloud comes out, the iCloud, and what they're going to do is they're going to examine all the music in your iTunes, and you won't have to upload that music to the Apple Cloud. They will just say, oh, you already have this, so we'll just make it available from our database into your cloud.
And that, for people like us in New Zealand with a very small pipe to the rest of the world that gives us limited bandwidth, and data caps and all the rest of it.
Yes.
Well, that's ideal.
That's right, because
no uploading.
I uploaded 2 gigs yesterday. I'm going to do it in drips and drabs, but it's going to take a long time for me to upload my music collection.
Yeah. That's dead right. And that's just music. When we extend that out into television and movies, which, I would very much like to carry every episode of Doctor Who around on my phone. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Doctor Who is cool now. So I'll just keep saying that till somebody believes me. But, it's that kind of thing, that kind of capability is within our reach. Yeah. And the only thing stopping us, really, is data caps and the willingness, the ease of use. So, it's going to be a very interesting little while with Apple and Google in particular, slugging it out in this regard.
There are some questions around this. So with the iCloud, let's say you've pirated a bunch of music, you've downloaded a whole bunch of music illegally, and it's in your iTunes.
That's right.
Are Apple now going to make that available regardless?
Well, as I understand it, you can pay them. You can pay them basically what some are calling an amnesty fee, and I think it's $25 a year.
Yeah.
And they will say, "Oh well, fair enough," and you just carry on. You've got access to all that music regardless of the source. They, of course, can't tell whether it's a pirated copy, one that you've borrowed a friend's CD and chucked it in the machine and copied it and then given it back to them.
Yeah.
They've got no way of telling whether it's that or a CD you've actually bought. But it does mean that all your music becomes legitimate at that point.
It makes sense. It's kind of like your own personal Spotify or something.
Well, that's exactly right, and that's absolutely the way to treat this. So perhaps all this arguing about the copyright laws and all the rest of it will go away with this model because we found out the price of a gig of music. It's $25.
Yeah,
that's it. I'll pay that. That's great.
Although I'd like to know somehow that Apple can then distribute that back to the artists.
Well, that's got to be part of the process, hasn't it? That I'm sure the artists will get tuppence halfpenny, but I'm sure the recording studios will get a slightly larger chunk. But eventually, ultimately, what we're doing here and what the Internet's really good at, and what Apple seems to excel at, is getting rid of the middleman. And you'll, I'm sure, see a day soon where the recording artists, more and more, especially the established ones, say, actually, I don't know why you're getting a cut of the music. I can distribute music using this Apple thing painlessly, easily, and very cheaply, and I get to keep a huge swag of the income instead of a tiny fraction.
Yeah.
So, it's the Internet's done it for classified ads, for car sales, for everything so far that it's come across. The middlemen have been cut out. It's probably time for music and TV and movies to follow suit.
Indeed. Windows 8, the next incarnation of Windows, there's been some announcement about that?
They've got beta trials out there. They've got various people testing it. We're starting to see some of the early reviews coming through, and it looks like the iPhone. It looks like the Windows Phone. What's it called? The Windows Phone Mobile Phone 7 phone thing. With the weird name. It's all these giant tiles on the screen. It's actually basically the same interface as your phone.
Right.
So this is quite interesting. I can see where Microsoft's going with it, and I don't think it'll matter a jot, frankly, because as everything else moves into the cloud, your interface to the rest of everything is the browser.
Yeah, but
and do you really care what operating system you've got?
Well, but saying that, for say business, say like here in radio, we've got some software that I'm looking at now that runs on a Windows-based system, and you're always going to need software for particular purposes.
That's very true, and you are going to want local versions of software. I use a thin client system at work, and it's housed far enough away from me that occasionally I'm typing and then I have to stop typing and wait while it catches up on the screen. And that's really quite annoying. So you do want to do a lot of stuff locally if you can at all help it. And, Microsoft does have a lock on the OS market.
Yeah.
But that's rapidly changing. Nobody's buying desktops really to speak of anymore. We're all buying iPads for the most part. And the ease of switch it on, switch it off, get in, get out, that kind of thing is proving to be really quite useful.
So are they headed for something that will potentially run on a desktop system but will also run on a touchpad type system as well, quite happily?
Yeah. So it'll run on, much as the iOS system from Apple does, it will run on a variety of devices. Apple's next move, I think, would be to release laptops with iOS rather than Mac Mac Lion on it, because that really is, it's instant on, it's instant off, it's all those things that we complained about for many years about the PC market, that it's just not doing what we need. They keep adding more stuff in that we don't want, and they don't address the problem of the 3-minute boot up and the shutting down and all the rest of it. Well, they have, by getting away from that model entirely.
Yeah.
So unless you need something specific, like your good self, or Steam for those of us who play computer games, really, I think that the rest of the PC world will shrivel and die.
It's irrelevant, isn't it?
Yes, it really does become much less relevant.
Okay, hey, thanks very much, Paul.
That's quite all right, anytime.
Paul Brislen on Twitter as well, if you want to continue the conversation over there. Time now is 21 minutes.